when I looked at this work, I thought I was looking at, like, the way I read it was almost like film stills and cutaways from films or something. There's something very cinematic about it. And yeah, because I mean, this feels very cinematic. This feels somewhat cinematic. And I also felt like, I think I've seen this somewhere before in a film. Not that it's coming from a film, but it had that familiarity. And then, as I looked more and more, I said, oh, there's some kind of visually poetic, but I wasn't getting enough substance from it. I think there's a certain kind of pleasure I get of looking, but then when my eyes slide off of it, when I make a statement, they don't make me feel. I actually feel quite calm when I look at these and tranquil, as opposed to anxiety or this idea of life and death around the edge. And so I think the investigation needs to go further in that way. But they're quite pleasant photos to look at.
Where they're not cinematic is in the fact that it's a circular array, it's not a linear array, so it doesn't go anywhere, and they're different sizes, which sort of suggests, I mean, there seems to be an overemphasis on design at the expense of some of the smaller aspects of the imagery. And is it coincidental that the most interesting pictures are the experience? The other stuff seems like, I don't know, let's make it response. I think it's a case of the installation aspects really overwhelming the content of the work. I think, all these attentions matter in some sense. The design works against that kind of interpretation.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what we end up looking at. They're really engaging with a kind of surface level and visual relationship between pictures. And that I think it's hard to project onto these sensibility, partially because we're not drawn out of the making of them, because we have a sense of how much was made. We're not drawn out of like the visual design. And when I look at them, my eye just keeps kind of going back and forth, back and forth through the writing of the images, and I don't necessarily pause or rest. There is the rhythm isn't well established, and that could be a way to get us to pause or create relationships between just a couple images rather than between all of them, which is perhaps too much to deal with if depth is what the artist is after, in terms of understanding the image and then way beyond how it looks.
I think that's a good point about the movement, because I realized I stopped here the longest. It's on the edge. And even though, we're left to right, I still ended up pausing in the longest because it captivated me. And I wasn't being beckoned to pull back. As soon as I go slide over, I start moving in a serpentine way, on a constant movement. So I'm not as reflective. I think I reflected most on this one because that allowed me to grace the pause, and so it was a quiz.
Seems like the narrative moment in that image on the right too is the strongest of all. It's also less of this kind of like eye candy of underwater photography thing going on, and just something about the 1 foot forward. I wish we could see the bottom of the feet and it wasn't blocked by that really dark shadow. But there's something about just that kind of pause within that movement that maybe is more suggestive of something larger than the image itself or the phenomenon is looking at.
And she's literally on the edge, to the dimension of air and space and some dimension of water. And so who can actually project an event platform.
I think that's why this, for example, is much more compelling than, say, this example areas. And I think all the readings that we're hearing that besides the design, et cetera, that's supported by the high degree of finish. It just sort of pushes you in that direction, which is not an interesting direction.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so thick, and it makes me think about this material. I don't understand how this helps the photograph, because it makes me I become conscious of this material, so it breaks my dialogue with the image.
It's physically heavy. Yeah, the images try to talk about weightlessness.
That's a good point. Yeah, you got to go physically if you were physically heavy. You have images about weightlessness.
It's hard when you decide on an installation like this. Like, I have a feeling that the images were never designed for an installation like this. And I think when you move towards this kind of relationship on a wall, each image has to leave something kind of unanswered that the layout and the design then answers for it. And that there's a relationship. But here, they were never meant to be sort of viewed like this, I think, from the beginning. So I think it might be a conflict. Each image maybe is sort of more resolved in itself, but as it tries to have this relationship with others, it gets a little bit confused. Also, this is really an uninteresting little detail, but when you mount prints on like a foam core surface, they get a little dimpling in it, okay? And if you do it on a Sintra, which you'll see over here, Jacobs, it's a smoother surface. Okay? It has nothing to do with gloss or luster. It's just a dimpling. So as you in the future mount things, and you're trying to decide on, do I spend the extra money or not? One of the things you're getting is a flatter, firmer surface. But
Sintra's more durable.
okay, we're out of time.